Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And not today, but a couple of days ago on the 25th, the trade-in event went live in the Armory. And I've talked about the trade-in event more than a few times in the past couple of weeks, because of course a lot of you guys look forward to it. It's an opportunity to get rid of those, old or unplayed premium ships. You can pick up a newer one with a pretty good discount applied because you traded in your old or unplayed premium ship. I myself am part of the club that's like, I don't really want to, take the risk of getting that unplayed or unwanted premium ship in a container or something, so I just kind of let it sit in port as punishment, right, for being a bad ship like the Tiger 59. But anyway, of course, many of you guys look forward to it. So the trading event went live, and Wargaming did something a little bit different this year that I do not recall them doing the past couple of times that they've done this. And in my opinion, it's a little bit of BS. So this go around, instead of having the event set up like, again, as far as I can recall and as far as I can look up on the internet, previous events where you have the list of ships you can trade in, you have the list of ships you can get for the trade-in, and you can trade in, whatever you want as long as it's in that first list of ships that you can trade in. That's not the case this year. They divided these ships up into 3 categories, which this was not in the dev blog either. In the dev blog, it looked like you have ship X, you can trade it in for ship Y as long as ship X is in the list of ships you can trade in for. But no, they divided them up into 3 different categories, or 3 different groups as they label them here. And there's not too much rhyme or reason as to why. It seems that the only thing that these ships have in common is that there is a tier 5 to tier 7 bracket, and then a tier 8 to tier 9 bracket that also has a couple of tier 7 ships in it, and then there is a tier 8 to tier 10 bracket, which again, it's kind of odd because some of the ships in the second group are also in the third group. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what they were going for here, but they've done it, and you're limited in what you can trade in. And this, of course, naturally will screw some players over. For example, let's say you have the Gambia. You took part in the dockyard, in the Blucher dockyard, and you got a Gambia. Gambia also, by the way, excellent tier 7 premium ship. But let's say you just don't like it. You don't like light cruisers, and you want what a lot of players want out of this trade-in event, which is that Karl the 14th Johann, an excellent tier 9 premium battleship. And another thing about this event too is a lot of the ships that you can get in the event are like coal ships. So it's kind of like, well, do you really want to, exchange a ship you paid cash for a coal ship? But not the Karl the 14th Johann. That is a doubloon ship. So naturally, again, a lot of players want to get that discount on that Karl the 14th Johann. So let's say you have a Gambia from the Blucher dockyard and you want to get that Karl the 14th Johann. Well, sorry, buddy, you can't. Because the only thing you can trade in Gambia for is a West Virginia 44, a Tashkent 39, a Florida, a Duplex, a West Virginia 41, a Gallant, a Genova, an Agincourt, a Sirocco, or an Atlanta. Out of that list of ships, there's a handful of them that are pretty decent, but none of them are a Karl the 14th Johann. Well, Sealord, the Gambia was a free tier 7 premium ship from the Blucher dockyard, so it's understandable they wouldn't want to give players essentially a free discount on a tier 9 ship. Well, okay, what the California, the tier 7 premium American battleship? That wasn't given away for free. You had to pay for that, unfortunately, right? So say you have a California. Can you trade in your California to get a discount on the Karl the 14th Johann? No, you can't trade in your California to get a discount on the Karl the 14th Johann, because California is also part of Group 1. So you're stuck with that list of ships that I just went over. I should be throwing some images of these groups up on screen as we're going through this. So, well, what do you have to trade in to get a Karl the 14th Johann? Well, it appears that you can trade in some of the more desirable tier 6 and above premium ships for a Karl the 14th Johann. Looks like most of the tier 8 premiums and a couple of the rare tier 6 premiums, like they let you trade in the Grafspee for some reason, along with the Giulio Cesare, which if you're trading your Giulio Cesare, you need to seek mental help or a Belfast, like an OG Belfast, not a Belfast 43, a Belfast. So yeah, that is wild, and it's just weird because they'll also turn around, and in Group 3 you can trade in like a Forrest Sherman to get a Carl the 14th Johann, and the Forrest Sherman is one of the better trades because it's the cheapest tier 10 coal ship at the moment. Of course, this is all before the price changes come into play. It's the cheapest coal ship, so you can pay a small amount of coal in comparison and get, half of the doubloon value back for the Forrest Sherman and get that discount on a Carl the 14th Johann, but you can't trade in, the lower tier ships that you got for free or for cheap because they are, lower tier ships, and get that bit of a discount on the Carl the 14th Johann. So it's just odd what they're doing here. The only thing I can think of is that they want to make sure that like you're playing the game enough to get the discount. Because, like, if you do trade in something like a California, which Tier 7 premiums... Well, let me use the California as a direct example. The California would give you 4,750 doubloons worth of trade-in value. Now, the Carl the 14th Johann is worth, obviously, quite a bit more than that. But you're getting it for, 15,000-ish doubloons instead of the, 19,000 doubloons that it cost. But you turn around and trade in a Forrest Sherman, which is worth about 17,000 doubloons in the trade-in event, then you're getting Carl the 14th Johann for about 3,000-ish doubloons. So, like, if I'm thinking from, like, a business side of things, it's like, well, why wouldn't we want to let the people trade in a California for a Carl the 14th Johann? Because they still have to cough up, again, 13,000-ish doubloons, or like 14, 15-ish thousand doubloons in order to get the Carl the 14th Johann. So obviously they have to, acquire those doubloons in some way, shape, or form, either through having played the game a crap ton to get that many free doubloons, or by, of course, coughing up the money in the premium shop to buy those doubloons. So it just seems to be a very weird and convoluted system in place. The point of this event is that you get rid of your unwanted and undesirable ships in exchange for ships that you do want, or a pretty hefty discount on those ships. So that's just odd that they've now restricted it to the point to where you can only get certain ships for certain other types of ships. Like, imagine if you go to a car dealership. You walk into like a Chevy dealership and you say, okay, hey, look, I want to buy that Corvette over there, that new C8 Corvette. I got great credit. I've got the money to buy the differential between that and my trade-in, which is this, 2007 Toyota Corolla with 300,000 miles on it, which you probably still get like freaking $5,000 for that car, right? And the dealer says, oh, I'm sorry, we can't do that because if you're trading in a 2007 Toyota Corolla, you can only buy, the vehicles from this list. It's like, well, what? I'm trying to give you money in exchange for, just the whatever my car is worth. So it seems very weird that they're doing this. I'm not exactly sure the reasoning behind it. Again, if I'm guessing, it seems to be that they've put the less desirable ships in one category, and they've put them up against some slightly more desirable ships. Don't get me wrong, like going from like a California to a West Virginia 41 or a West Virginia 44 or West Virginia 41, that is definitely an upgrade in my book. But again, it's not like being able to go from a California to a Carl the 14th Johann, right? Like that's a massive upgrade that you still have to pay the differential for. So I'm not exactly sure what their motivation behind this is or what the purpose of this is, besides just, again, limiting what you can and can't get and forcing you to cough up a more desirable or higher tier ship for that other higher tier, more desirable ship, which that's the only thing that I'm seeing. Because if you look at the second group of ships, you got ships like the Borodino, the Anhalt, the Hornet, the Constellation, the San Diego. So, those better tier, 7 to 8 premium ships. There are a couple of tier 6 tossed in there as well. You know, some of the better tier 6, like I said, you can the Grafspee, you can trade that in, the Cesare, the Belfast. You can trade those in for Call of the 14th Johann, but you can't trade in, again, what many would consider to be, you know, some of the most undesirable mid-tier premiums for a discount on Call of the 14th Johann. And it's just odd that, again, the whole point of this event is to trade in the ships that you don't play or you don't like. And then when you get to the last group, Group 3, which is the higher tier ships, again, you know, it's most of the ships that you definitely would be wanting to play, like a Linen. Who's trading in a Linen for like a Forrest Sherman or Carl the 14th Johann? Like, I really do like Carl the 14th Johann, don't get me wrong, but Linen's better tier for tier, right? So that's just a little weird, the way that they've done this year and the way that they've set it up. I'm not sure exactly what's going on here or why, but it seems to be a little bit of BS on Wargaming side of things. Normally this is a pretty popular event with the player base because, you know, again, get rid of the premiums you don't like, you know, premiums you got in a container or something that you know, don't really play, which that very well might be the thing here. These are the ships, you know, these are the tier 6 and tier 5 ships that you are more likely to get in containers because they have a better drop chance than those higher tier ships, and that might be the case here. You know, they're limiting what you can get from these ships. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. But either way, again, it's a bit of BS from Wargaming on this event. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think this is BS, or do you think this is fine, or whatever? Yeah, just let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I would like to hear from you on this matter. So guys, that's it for today's video. If you liked it, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, all of that jazz. Hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday, a wonderful rest of your weekend. I hope to catch you guys in the next one.